It's a tense standoff in the Gulf. Merchant vessels are on a high state of alert following an incident earlier this week in which a British oil tanker was impeded by boats belonging to Iran. The three vessels, believed to be from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, were forced away. The incident came after the UK had already raised its threat level for ships in the Gulf to high, meaning that an attack could be imminent. Oscar Valero reports.
Shipping in the Gulf has been put onto the highest state of alert following the attempt to impede a British oil tanker near the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday. The British frigate HMS Monroe forced three Iranian vessels to back off after they tried to block the BP tanker British Heritage. The Iranian foreign minister dismissed as worthless the allegation that Iran sought to block the ship.
عضو شورای حکام همه متحدینش عضو شورای حکام یک بیانیه یک خطی نتوانستند از رئیس شورای حکام بگیرن. آمریکا در صحنه سیاسی در دنیا منزوی است. در صحنه میدانی آمریکا احساس میکنه در خاورمیانه شکست خورده. البته یکی از دلایل شکست آمریکا مقاومت مردم و همراهی جمهوری اسلامی ایران با مقاومت.
This situation made the two main candidates to succeed Theresa May agree the importance of de-escalating the tension.
I think it's very important that all vessels, UK flagged or otherwise, are able to use international waters in the Persian Gulf and elsewhere with perfect security.
Obviously very concerning developments, but also I'm very proud of the Royal Navy and the role that they played in keeping British assets, British shipping safe. We are continuing to monitor the situation very, very carefully.
Last week, British Royal Marines seized an Iranian tanker Grace 1 off the coast of Gibraltar. It was in defiance of international sanctions. Iran threatened to retaliate. Now all shipping in the Gulf is being forced to take extra precautions. Oscar Valero, Euronews.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined by Tig Enright, our correspondent who's in London. Morning to you, Tig. Can you give us any indication of just how serious the situation now is in the Gulf?
Hi, Rosie. Well, I think it speaks volumes that here at the London Foreign Office, they have raised the threat level to critical for ships in Iranian waters, effectively advising them not to enter, and extra naval vessels have been deployed to offer protection. Of course, it is British ships that seem to have become somewhat of a focal point in this escalation of tensions ever since that seizure last week off the coast of Gibraltar of an Iranian vessel by British Royal Marines, because of a suspicion that it was in breach of sanctions against Syria. And certainly it didn't help this latest chapter that the Gibraltar police arrested that vessel's chief officer and captain yesterday, although neither have been charged. But, you know, there have been several other attacks in the Gulf ever since May of this year, the most serious of them in June, when two vessels, a Japanese and Norwegian vessel, came under attack. You remember those TV pictures showing a big hole blasted in its side, and the Iranians widely blamed for it. So the Gulf really is a tinderbox right now. Now, the Iranians are denying any involvement, but certainly the suspicion here is that this is them trying to flex their muscles. And even if they, and certainly the Europeans involved, don't want things to escalate any further or to get any worse, there is always a danger in these situations where there is provocation and mischief at play, that something happens accidentally that sets off a sequence of events that makes things get much worse.
Calling it a tinderbox, Tig, it really has been the US and Iran that have been inflaming the situation up until now. What are the implications now we're seeing European countries get involved?
Yeah, I mean, important to put all of this into context. There are now some people in Donald Trump's inner circle who are Iran antagonists, and they're seeking to destabilize the regime because they think they could achieve regime change there. That's, I think, a big part of the reason why you saw the US walking away from the hard-fought nuclear deal agreed between Iran and the United States and other world powers. And as a consequence, Iran is really suffering with the imposition of sanctions by the United States. But the Iranians now seem to be dealing with it in a way that isn't yielding much sympathy. Now they're asking Europe, and particularly the European signatories to that deal, for help. The Europeans have not been able to offer help in any kind of meaningful way, even if those signatories really are hopeful that this deal can stay alive. Meanwhile, you've got the United States also trying to shore up support for its position from its traditional allies in Europe, however strained those alliances might be right now. So European leaders really are caught in the middle on all this. These provocations don't help, but what's also clear is that diplomacy isn't working right now.
Ty Gamright, thank you for that analysis, our correspondent in London.